A young man finds himself facing the toughest mystery of his life after discovering his father murdered under mysterious circumstances. Although rumors claim the culprit is a vampire, he refuses to believe in such superstitions and swears to reveal the real criminal using his supernatural powers. This story begins with Lewis Hartman telling us that there are two types of people in this world, those who love comic books and those who don't. Clearly, he is of the first type, and right now he is extremely excited about a comic featuring werewolves. In fact, he also mentions that there are two other types of people, those who believe in mysterious creatures, non-humans, and strange beings, and those who do not. Once again, he is clearly in the first category. It seems we are about to witness one of his first cases explaining why they believe in all of that. It turns out that Lewis was summoned because something dangerous had occurred. Upon arriving at the crowded scene, he sadly discovers that his father has been killed. It looks terrible, and people believe a vampire is responsible. Although Lewis insists they don't exist, calling them ridiculous beliefs, and claims that the culprits are simply criminals the authorities haven't caught yet, he makes a vow. Despite people's attempts to calm him down, he promises that he will catch the perpetrator who did this to his father all on his own, whatever the cost. Several months later, Lewis wants to start working on important matters at a restaurant. The restaurant manager is speaking with someone. It seems her father is in the hospital and she needs to leave early because he's being discharged tomorrow. Lewis suddenly appears and the girl asks if he's on patrol. He answers yes, noting it's been a month since his last case. She asks him not to overexert himself as she doesn't want him to faint. However, Lewis swears he won't rest until he catches his father's killer. She says that's exactly what she means. She doesn't want him to suffer, so she prepares some food for him to relax. While waiting for his meal, Lewis begins to think about how his father always told him to remember that crimes happen in the real world, not in books or comics. He always advised him to pay attention to reality, for by observing things carefully, one can find important or interesting clues. Clearly, his father was a very important detective in the community. Since his father was killed, Lewis has never left the real world. In other words, monsters, fantasies, heroes, and all those things were left behind in the past. Suddenly, he hears a blonde woman named Lynn tell Arnie that if they wait for another victim to fall, it might be too late. Furthermore, the killer might be a vampire. This surprises Lewis, but Arnie asks him to calm down, claiming the idea of the killer being a vampire is just a stupid rumor. The blonde believes they must act before the criminal ends another life, but Lewis intervenes to tell them that the Hartman Detective Agency, his family's agency, is pursuing this killer and he will be the one to catch him to avenge his beloved father. He adds that he doesn't understand what simple children could possibly do. Arnie laughs and asks if he thinks of himself as an adult or a superhero. This seems to strike a nerve with Lewis. After looking at his reflection in the window, he runs away. A blonde girl named Amy thinks he's rude for leaving like that without apologizing. The restaurant manager apologizes to them but asks him to understand Lewis, explaining that his father was the 5th victim of this killer. He was a private detective who was close to discovering the criminal's identity, but was suddenly found dead. They suspect he investigated too much and died for it. Hours later, Lynn goes to Lewis to try and chat, but Lewis asks her to leave him alone. She refuses, and to break the ice, she starts saying nice things about the garden, asking who takes care of it. Lewis tells her it is Adelina, the restaurant owner. Lynn finds it amazing that she can manage a restaurant and maintain such a beautiful place, but she takes the opportunity to tell Lewis that Adelina spoke to her about him. Lewis doesn't want anyone's pity, but the blonde explains that isn't the case. Rather, they are somewhat alike. This catches Lewis's attention, and he asks what exactly happened to her. She apologizes, saying she should have introduced herself from the start. The girl says she's an assistant at Arnie's investigation agency and her name is Lynn Renaway. Lewis is amazed to hear the name of the agency. He can't believe that the other boy is a detective. She tells him yes, he is the lead detective of the agency and a very talented person. Although Lewis sees him as a rival, the blonde actually wants to invite him to collaborate with them so they can find the loose killer faster. The problem is, Lewis feels a great deal of pride in his father's legacy and doesn't want to accept help from anyone since his family's agency has solved the most complex cases in the entire city. Since Lynn somewhat understands him, she offers to exchange information, to cooperate but not too directly so that in the end both will benefit. Lewis ends up accepting and we move to the Heartland Detective Agency. Arnie comments that when they learned of the case, they immediately started investigating to see if there were similar cases in neighboring villages or towns. However, the murders of the Gravedigger vampire, yes, that's what they're called, occurred only locally, in this city alone. This individual must have a good motive for operating only here. They also discovered that this person's main goal is stealing large quantities of blood. Amy says that's why they call him the Gravedigger vampire, but Lynn wants to know why on earth someone would need all that blood. She asks Lewis's opinion, and he believes it might be because he isn't a vampire, but because he's a human who thinks he's a vampire. Arnie asks if he means vampires don't exist, and Lewis says of course because in the real world, real crimes happen. Lynn comments that she also doesn't believe the criminal is a vampire. In fact, they went to the morgue, and upon analyzing the body of the last victim, they didn't see any marks caused by a vampire or anything similar. However, shortly after, they began analyzing the type of victims the criminal prefers, and noticed they're all adult men. The question is the killer looking for this type of person for the amount of blood or for something else? Since the crimes were committed late at night, it is most likely the criminal had information about his victims. He might even be a very strong person, huge and large, or it might be a group of people. These are some of the conclusions Lewis reached, along with a bit of information he managed to gather. Since now he has to continue the investigation, he says goodbye, but Lynn thought that they would drink tea together. Lewis refuses, saying he has more important things to do, but Amy, in her own way, forces him to understand that he cannot refuse Lynn's kindness. After things settle down, Lynn asks Lewis if he wants to join them once the case is solved, because Arnie is very talented and he could learn a lot from him. Arnie himself asks Lynn to stop recruiting more assistants. Amy thinks Lynn is too kind, and those words seem to make Lewis think. He says he will think about it later. Shortly after, Arnie tells Lewis that he smells a bit of blood. Lewis tells him it's because of his hat, but Arnie knows there's something else and asks him to explain the reason. He shows him a handkerchief, his mother's favorite. It was with his father when he found him dead. Lynn says perhaps your father loved his wife very much, but suddenly, Lewis remembers his father's advice again. Always pay attention to the real world and to the small details it offers. Suddenly, he starts recalling many memories, flashbacks, and ends up saying it was both of them, but someone arrives just then to inform him that something very bad has happened. The man reports that a person named Odo has suicided. He also tells him there was a note at the scene saying, "I am the gravedigger vampire." The point is, this man thinks that perhaps now Lewis's father can rest in peace because the criminal who took his life is finally dead. But to Lewis, this makes absolutely no sense. Suddenly, we see Adelina staining her beautiful white flowers red. What? Lewis went personally to ask her if she's the gravedigger vampire and killed Odo last night, who was surely her partner. Adelina says, "What the hell are you saying?" calling it absurd. But Lewis is sure she planned everything to pin the blame on everything that happened on Odo. She continues to evade the questions and thinks Lewis should rest, but Lewis tells her that when he found his father lifeless, he was holding his mother's handkerchief. And yes, that was where he left his last message. He is certain his father trusted him, which is why he left him this, and he has reached the conclusion that the killer is the person who dyes the flowers red, just as his father told him via the handkerchief. Adelina tells Lewis that all she seeks is to change the color of the flowers. The color that blood provides is the best, and only by using it can she get the color she desperately wants. Why? Because she believes it closely resembles the vivid red color of her eyes. She tells him he is wrong. Odo wasn't her partner, because her true partner is Golem. She admits to being a witch who summons golems. Unfortunately for Lewis, this has reached its end. Without even realizing it, he is pierced through the chest by the golem in less than a second. It seems there is no escape, but Arnie appears at the right moment to handle it. Upon drinking a little blood, he begins to transform, and Adelina wonders if he is a vampire. Arnie explains to her yes, he is, but not a normal one. With little effort, he smashes the golem and recounts that in the world of vampires, there are 9 kings who rule the rest of them. And a long time ago, to achieve their goal of dominating the world, these kings sacrificed their hearts to summon a very dangerous, but above all, powerful vampire. And yes, he means himself. Lewis simply can't know what to think. He cannot grasp that everything he denied for so long actually exists, and that right in front of him is not just a vampire, but a hero. Although Lynn came to try and help him, in this moment, Lewis only hears the sound of a door closing. And yes, it is the sound of his life, which is about to end. Although the little witch wants to summon her golems to defeat Arnie, he proves to her that she doesn't stand a chance. Amy also just used one of her necromancy abilities so that Louis, because yes, this is Louis, could get his revenge. And so Louis finally achieves his goal, but he ends up paying for it with his life. And thus ends the first episode of our story. To watch more episodes, please support us with a like and subscribe to the channel to receive all updates. Although she is the daughter of a cruel demon king, she was born kind-hearted and very gentle. She possesses a magical power that makes all animals and creatures love her. However, her father wants to turn her into a ruthless demon. But will he succeed? Watch till the end. In one of the world's evil creatures lived following malicious intentions, fond of destruction and violence known as demons. There was one who resorted to a greater and more violent power to try and subdue those demons under his command, the Demon King, Ahriman. That ambition drove him to attempt to conquer the entire demon world. Thus began the invasion of the Demon King's army. We see the war between monsters and some people who appear to be the heroes of our new story. We see the Demon King destroying everything with his super fiery power, wreaking havoc in the demon world and spreading terror in the human world. It was only a matter of time until the demon world submitted to a single rule, and everyone believed this evil invasion would soon expand to other worlds, but impossible. While we see the girl Jay, the Demon King's right hand and advisor, about to subdue the Demon of the North and make him surrender, an order comes to her from the Demon King to withdraw immediately. Jay goes to the Demon King and asks him why he ordered that and stopped the plan to control the world. The Demon King tells her this is a grave matter, and if they don't deal with this obstacle, he won't be able to think about the invasion. Jay is surprised and asks him what this great obstacle is that causes the invasion to stop. He tells her the problem is his daughter, Jo. She's very kind. Jay thinks Jo's kindness is due to her young age, and awakening her cruel nature is just a matter of time. He tells her he thought so too, but within the half year she was away on her campaign, Jo's kindness reached an exaggerated level. She treated the wounds of a human slave, helped some demon slaves carry items, and shared her meals with children. Then our cute heroine Do enters the room and tells him she saved a lizard from the danger of the river. Her father tells her not to approach the river alone again. Then the Demon King tells his assistant Jay that his duty as a father to Do precedes his role as a king. He's worried about his daughter and cannot think about the invasion. Jay tells him she will subject Lady Do to many tests, make her a ruthless, evil demon, and guide her on the path to becoming a true demon. Do thinks they will play together, but Jay tells her this matter involves no playing. She tells them she will make her torture some weak humans to awaken her instincts as a demon. To achieve this, they will cross the dense forest leading to the human world. There are still many loose, lawless demons in the forest challenging the king, so she will have Jo defeat them. Jo gets very happy because she thinks she will play with them. Then Jo goes with Jay. Jay talks to herself, saying Lady Jo must be unable to get rid of her kindness because the Demon King spoils her too much, but she will prevent that. Suddenly, Do moves away from her and disappears into the forest. She is trying to play hide and seek with Jay. Do continues playing hide and seek and gathers many pets to play with her. Finally, Jay catches her and tells her angrily they aren't there to play hide and seek. She tells her that demons steal, oppress, and kill, and these are the 3 principles any demon lives by to become complete. Do ignores her and goes to feed the small rabbit some candy. Then 2 demons appear before them, wanting to kill the weak Do. Do attacks one of them, and when Jay turns to attack the other, she finds Jo on his head playing with him. Jay hits him and grabs Jo, saying internally, "I misunderstood. Lady Do didn't become this way because she's spoiled, but because she was born kind essentially, and her kindness affects everyone around her, even monsters or demons. This is very dangerous, because in this stage, she won't be able to succeed the Demon King or live as a demon. I must strengthen my resolve to change her." Then they move to another place in the forest and start the first lesson, theft. She tells her they will threaten the humans in this village and steal their food, and tells Do to go execute the mission. Do goes to a vendor and asks for potatoes. Jay gets angry because she didn't steal as ordered. Then Do realizes this isn't the mission she came for and takes out Jay's instruction paper, which says she is a great demon, and if she doesn't execute the mission as ordered, she will tear her apart and punish her severely. However, Do ignores that. The vendor offers her the potatoes, and when Do says she has no money, the vendor says she doesn't need money and will give it free of charge. She then tells her leg was injured a while ago and she won't be able to walk again. Furthermore, this year's vegetables weren't good, she couldn't bring many customers, and she intended to close the shop. Do then uses her magic on the woman's leg and heals it and asks her to stand. When the vendor stands, she is surprised and thanks her greatly. Do tells her this is her duty, then goes to Jay, telling her she succeeded in stealing. Jay gets angry and tells her not to help humans with her magic, as it is unbecoming of a demon. She was supposed to threaten the vendor and steal from her. Do tells her she wants to get things in exchange for helping them, not by threat, and wants to become a demon who helps everyone, and gives her a piece of potato. Then Jay goes to the vendor's house and sees Do there. Jay thanks her for looking after Do today. She enters to see Jo making dolls and giving her a doll that looks very much like her. We see the vendor thanking Do and Jay for their help today. Then we return to the Demon King's house, and he gets angry when he learns that his daughter Do helped the poor granny and healed her with magic. Jay tells him not to worry at all. This is just a test to entrap that old woman to deceive and betray her in the end. She pretended with Do to love helping humans, to gain their trust. The old woman hasn't realized yet that Do is a demon, and it was easy to lure her. The king supports this plan and gives Jay some salt and asks her to lick it. When Jay does so, she suddenly cannot move. The king tells her that if any living being tastes the salt, they will not be able to move and will be forced to obey any command given to them. He tested it on her to ignite Do's desire for control. He asks Do to issue a command to Jay now, for she will do anything she asks, no matter how cruel or terrifying. Do gets very happy and takes Jay to the forest. Her command was to carry her the whole way and pat her head. Jay does so. Jay tells her to issue a cruel command to that old woman when they reach her. Do agrees and tells her she will follow her father's orders. Do leaves her and goes to the old woman to make her eat that salt, but Do decides to help the old woman as usual. Jay gets very angry with her. While going to Do, Jay meets some humans who ask for her help. Jay finds herself agreeing because she is still under the influence of the salt. Her body moves on its own and obeys the humans' orders. Then we see Jo helping the old woman move household items outside. Jo asks her why we are doing that. She tells her that her house is ancient and has become dilapidated, so she decided to renovate it and will stay with a colleague until she does so, but she won't go far as her friend's house is nearby. She asks her to take all the dolls because she no longer needs them. All this time she was dusting and washing them because they were dear to her, but now she wants to gift them to her because those who used to play with them long ago are gone. No one remains of her family and she's become completely lonely. These dolls would surely be happier with you than with an old woman like myself. Jo uses her magic on the dolls and makes them move and tells the old woman that the dolls never want to leave you. They wish to stay with the one who took such good care of them. Here, Jay arrives and is surprised by what Jo is doing, realizing that Jo's kindness awakened those inanimate objects. Jo asks the old woman to take care of the dolls and never part with them. The old woman cries with joy and thanks her greatly. Then Jay goes to the Demon King and he asks Jay about Jo's tests, but Jay cannot tell him. Jo comes to him and shows him the doll she made and tells him she will make one that looks like him next time. Her father hugs her. Jay talks to herself saying, "I'm completely helpless. I will return to the battlefield and destroy the enemies." Then Jo gives her a doll that looks like her. The king tells Jay he is reassured about his daughter being with her. When Jay objects to that, she finds herself under the influence of the king's magic and agrees to the order of taking care of little Jo. And little Jo rejoices at that.
After that, we see this farmer wandering in the forest. He finds these flowers and picks many of them, as we know that these flowers are called Surya flowers and that his wife and daughter love this type of rose. Then he looks into the distance and finds this smoke coming out of somewhere. The scene then shifts to those workers digging in this land, accompanied by Jahi and this demon, directing them to search and excavate for magic stones. Everything is going well as they want, but this demon sees that some scum are causing them some trouble. Jahi understands that he means the demon slayer who was brought in recently, so she orders the demon not to do anything to him, as these slaves provide the manpower they need, and there are many ways they can exploit him. Suddenly, Little Do enters. Jahi is surprised by her and asks her what brought her here. She answered that her father brought her a lot of sweet potatoes, so she wanted to share them with everyone, even if they were humans. Jahi gets very angry because the Demon King abandoned his invasions just to buy his daughter potatoes. Afterwards, the Demon King comes and talks to his daughter Do. He warns her about sharing things with the slaves. Jahi speaks to him and tells him that he must be stricter with his daughter regarding his actions, as this is what increases Lady Ju's kindness even more. Then she directs her words to Do, telling her that if she remains kind, the Demon King won't be able to do his job properly. She must become more demonic and fill her heart with cruelty. Do apologizes to her. The Demon King falls silent for a little while, then tells her that there are definitely matters they must attend to, as the test they conducted with the villagers didn't work at all. Jahi reassures him and tells her that she prepared a new test for Lady Do, and this test requires her to suppress a rebellious, troublesome slave until he is possessed by fear and pain. The king likes this idea as Jahi finishes her sentence, and she knows that this will be a little dangerous for her, so they must prepare well to ensure her safety. The king asks her not to worry, then gives her daughter this small stick. Do takes it from him, knowing nothing about the stick. When she holds it in her hand, a halo of light comes out of it, and her father tells her at that moment that she has become the rightful owner of this stick now. Jahi asks about the nature of the stick, so he makes her watch the king using his power to make a statue move. When the statue moves, it tries to attack the little girl, so Do uses the stick in her hands, and the statue disappears from in front of her. Then the king says that this stick enables its wielder to turn anyone harboring evil, a killing intent, or hatred into dust just by touching them. It is a distinct stick. This makes Jahi reassured about Do. Jahi asks him what happens if the stick touches a demon, but the Demon King does not answer her because he doesn't know what would happen. Then we move to the lead demon, who is beating the demon slayer because he refused to execute what is asked of him. Afterward, we see that farmer who saw the smoke coming from afar running to see what is happening there. While running, he meets this demon and a group of bandits. They ask him where he's going and if he has any loot there. The farmer answers that he didn't have anything, but he wants to pass to see what is happening. The bandits refuse and gather around him to beat him, wounding him in his stomach. They barely find anything to eat because of that army of Airymen which imposes its control over them, and now they are stuck attacking these poor humans in a wilderness. They decide to wander searching for food, thinking there must be a small village ahead for them to enter, where they might find something to steal. After they leave, the farmer runs to the burning house, emitting a smoke. We discover that this house is his home. He calls out to his wife and daughter, but finds them lying on the ground. We return once again to Jahi, where the demon tells her that they have just put that demon slayer in the dungeons because he refuses to execute what is asked of him. Do enters and tries to talk to Jahi, but Jahi runs away from her. Do goes after her, but Jahi continues to distance herself, and Do doesn't know why she is moving away like this. Jahi answers her that her presence near her will reduce her focus during her tests, and that demons are fundamentally made of malice, killing intent, and evil, so she will turn to dust if she touches her. Then she asks her if she understood her meaning when she told her to suppress them with cunning. She continues her speech saying that she must whip them and torture them until they submit. Then Jahi says to herself that the ultimate goal now is for Do to realize that humans are enemies to them. If she realizes that humans are ugly and dangerous creatures, she will inevitably be aware of them in the end and view them as enemies.
Then she takes her to this prisoner, as he will be suitable for her for this purpose. She asks Ju to use the whip on the prisoner and torture him, but Ju runs away because she is afraid as the place is pitch black. While running, she meets the Demon Slayer. Jahi is happy because she met him. The Demon Slayer asks her what brought her here alone while you are a child, and where did you get those fake horns? Ju answered him that she was not a child and these horns aren't fake, for demons have horns that grow just as anything grows in our bodies. The Demon Slayer asks her once again what she is doing here and if she came to kill him. During this conversation, Jahi looks at them happily because if the Demon Slayer keeps intimidating her like this, she will hate all humans and will suppress them on her own. After that, Ju replies to the Demon Slayer that she came to give him a mushroom. She was supposed to roast it for him, but she cannot do that. The Demon Slayer answers her that mushrooms are truly delicious and taste appetizing when put in a hot soup pot. When Jahi hears this conversation, she gets very angry because she thought Ju would torture him, but now he is playing with her. Then the Demon Slayer thinks to himself what the demons are planning by sending a child like this to him. Afterward, he speaks in a loud voice and tells them that he will never obey them, and if they are going to kill him, they should do it right now, for he has no place in this world anyway. After that, we shift to the bandits, who entered the village where they attacked its inhabitants to take any loot found there. They tell the people of the village that they won't destroy their village if they hand over the loot they have. Suddenly, that farmer whom they beat a little while ago appears before them. They decide to attack him to kill him, but the farmer gathers his strength and attacks them instead, killing one of them and then killing the other, all in front of the eyes of the village people. Suddenly, a mark appears on him. This mark is called Asim. It appears on the person when their body is stained with the blood of demons. It is a curse that never fades. From now on, that person becomes a demon slayer. With this, the mark he has will attract demons seeking revenge to return to the village. Although that person saved the village, its leader asked him a cruel request, which is to leave immediately so they are not harmed. In that moment, we understand that the Demon Slayer imprisoned in the demon prison is the same farmer who is working in the field. Since then, he lost his place in the world. No one and nothing is capable of scaring him anymore. He is a Demon Slayer and will even kill the children of demons. Ju do not care about his words and opens the door of the prison he is jailed in. Jahi is shocked again even more that she was able to do that. Then Ju approaches the Demon Slayer and tells him that he said before that he would kill her and doesn't care about her. Ju also doesn't care about him and asks him to play a staring game together, telling her that she is lonely when her father and her big sister Jahi are working, so there is no one to play with her. I wait in my room reading comic books and playing with blocks because I feel lonely and wait alone. So when my loneliness gets intense, I go out to play with a group of friends, whether they're animals, humans, or big demons who play with me. But we aren't alone now, for you and I are here together. Then Asim remembers what happened to him. He looks at Ju and touches her with affection. Jahi thinks that when he touches her, he will turn to dust. But a strange thing happens, and the curse on his body disappears. Then they play together and Ju is very happy with him. Ju says to him, "You won't want demons again because that will make you lonely." Jahi arrives astonished by Ju. Then Ju goes to her and asks her if she passed the test or not. When Ju touches her, Jahi scares and moves away quickly, but soon Jahi goes to her saying, "You are very amazing, but make sure not to open the locks without permission from now on." After that, we see those people working and Asim is with them. His friend asks him why he's working so hard and if something happened to him. Asim tells him that he ate some mushrooms, but it is very hot here, so we have to endure it a little bit. His friend replies that it is very hot here all year round, even though winter arrived outside a while ago.
Then we see Ju and Jehu outside playing with each other in the snow, throwing snowballs at each other. When Jehu throws a snowball at her, she falls to the ground and thinks Jehu used magic, but Jehu tells her she didn't use any magic and that this is just her strength. The scene then shifts to the Demon King talking with Jehu about offensive magic. Jehu tells him that she has seen many demons become more evil when they learn offensive magic. If she learns offensive magic, she will become more demonic by nature. The problem is whether Ju is capable of using offensive magic or not. So the Demon King uses his power and something appears in his hands resembling a ball. It is dark matter. If a human touches it, it will swallow them, but if a demon eats it, it will double their magic and evil nature. Then he gives it to Ju, saying to her, "Swallow this dark matter and begin your training." We see Jehu with Ju, telling her she will teach her. She laughs at her regarding the snowball incident, saying, "I used magic? Here is an example with this small stone. If you use enhancement magic, you can even flick it to be horizon or throw it at the wall and destroy it." Then Jehu explains to Ju to hold the stone, imagine water flowing from her heart to her hand, and throw it quickly. But we see Ju is a weak person, she couldn't do that. Jehu continues explaining to Ju, there are many types of magic, so you must learn what you are good at. Then Jehu uses this fire spell called Flare, but we see Ju only thinking about games and making toys for herself, and Jehu gets angry with her because of it. Then Du asks her why the fire didn't go out. Jehu tells her fire magic won't go out unless you use ice magic, which opposes it. But we see Du used something on the ice. Jehu is astonished by her, saying to her, I cannot produce anything at this level. Du tells her she wants to do this thing at the human's workplace. Jehu is very happy that she is thinking about that and that her evil side has finally awakened. She takes her to the Demon King and tells him that she wants to torture humans with ice. When the Demon King hears this, he rejoices greatly and thanks Jehu because she took good care of Du. When they go to the place where the humans are, we see Du used ice with the humans, but in a cute and refreshing way. The humans are very happy about that, and she also gives ice cream to the little ones. Then she sees her father and Jehu and tells them what she is doing while she is happy. Jehu gets angry at her because she is wasting her magical power on something useless. Du takes her father and they play with the humans in the snow. We see Jehu eating ice cream, astonished by what is happening. This is how today's episode of this anime ends. Wait for me in the upcoming episodes, and if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and activate the bell to receive everything new.
He was transported to another world and found himself reincarnated as a mid-ranking demon. His only mission was to eliminate the hero's party, but everything takes a drastic turn and he becomes the strongest adventurer in the world. Our story begins in front of the Demon King's castle, where we see a party composed of 4 heroes standing before the fortress, ready to invade it and kill the Demon King. Having conducted research on the powers possessed by the Demon King and his minions, they are certain of their ability to defeat them. Upon entering the castle, they launch an attack on a demon named Yuki. When Yuki sees them, he realizes they are the heroes who have come to slay the Demon King. He tells them that if they cannot defeat him, they cannot reach the Demon King. Makana uses her magic and fires it at him, but he blocks it easily. Yuki mocks her and her magic. Raven then attacks him, but fails to land a hit as well. It becomes Yoga's turn, supported by Cecilia's magic, but despite the power of that magic, they are unable to harm him. At the end of the battle, the hero's party falls to the ground. When Yuki looks at them, he notices Cecilia, finds her to be a very beautiful girl, and falls for her. Suddenly, his friends appear behind him and ask why he didn't kill them. Yuki gets angry with them because he had ordered them to stay hidden, but they emerged once the situation calmed down. They mention they saw him staring at that girl and want to know his plans, looking at him with sly grins. He shouts at them, claiming he was merely contemplating what to do with the intruders. They ask if he will kill them or not. He responds by ordering them to throw the heroes outside, as there is a human village nearby, and to leave them there. A month later, we find the Demon King meeting with Cycle, Yuki, and the rest of the demons, discussing the heroes' party. Recently, the heroes' party has been returning to the castle time and again to kill the Demon King, and they have been defeated by Yuki all 13 times they came. Thus, the demons do not fear the heroes' party as long as they are defeated by Yuki. The Demon King speaks to Yuki, asking why he doesn't simply kill these heroes. Yuki pauses briefly before telling him that since they cannot kill him, such weaklings are not worth the burden of killing. Forget the burden of killing, he implies. The Demon King warns him that if he won't kill them, he will order his other followers to handle it. Yuki apologizes and assures him that he will take care of the task himself. He then leaves. On his way, he thinks to himself that if he allows the heroes' party to survive again, his own subordinates might be put at risk. Despite possessing super strength, the heroes are actually strong enough to defeat the Demon King. Meanwhile, the Demon King is proceeding with his plan to dominate the world, so Yuki decides he must end this matter the next time. Later, the heroes' party arrives once again to defeat Yuki, fully prepared. Yoga and Raven attack Yuki, attempting to strike him, but they are unable to do anything. Yuki uses his power to throw them back, and they crash into the wall. Cecilia decides to heal them. At the same time, Makana attacks Yuki in a rage, launching a massive fireball at him, but it has no effect either. After Cecilia finishes healing Yoga and Raven, Yuki mocks them, telling them to fight as much as they wish, for it will make no difference. He adds that if they want to drown in the depths of darkness again, they should go ahead. At that moment, Yoga asks Cecilia to support him with her magic, which she does. Yoga gains immense power, channeling it all into his holy sword and attacks Yuki with full force, but it is futile. He cannot even scratch him. Despite all that has happened, they still want to kill the Demon King. Yuki makes them a proposal. They must leave the priestess there with him. If they agree to this, he will allow the other 3 to pass and kill the Demon King. Yoga refuses, but Makana urges him to accept the offer so they can defeat the Demon King. She points out that he needs to consider the situation. The demon, Yuki, had many opportunities to kill them, but never did. Yoga insists on refusing, arguing that this doesn't guarantee they'll make it alive. However, Makana tells him that saving the entire world is more important than a single priestess. Cecilia then speaks up, asking them to go and kill the Demon King, assuring them she'll be fine here. Yoga promises her that they will return to retrieve her immediately after defeating the Demon King. After they leave, Cecilia speaks to Yuki, asking why he demanded she stay. She doesn't believe her powers can harm him, yet she declares she will fight him until her last breath.
She uses her power to strike him, but achieves nothing. Yuki asks her to please listen to her. He introduces himself, stating that he won't kill her. If he wanted to, he would have during our first encounter. Cecilia remains guarded, but wants to know what he has to say. Yuki tells her that he fell for her at first sight, then asks her to go out on a date with him. Cecilia is shocked by his words. She refuses to be deceived by him and attacks Yuki once more, but finds that he does not fight back. He tells her that since she rejected him, he no longer cares about anything. Even if he lives, he will remain trapped in this room forever. He is only permitted to leave to attack human villages and towns, but he has no desire to do any of that. Cecilia doesn't believe him, calling him a liar because the Demon King is trying to wipe out humanity. Yuki explains that although he looks like a demon, he is actually a reincarnation from another world. Cecilia doesn't understand his words, but Yuki tells her that he is human on the inside. Cecilia, still confused, asks why he serves the Demon King then. He explains that although he could defeat him, if he did so, they would crown him the next Demon King, and he does not want that. Ultimately, he is stuck here day after day, unable to do anything. If he has to live like this, it is better to end it. Then she appeared before him, and he loved her at first sight. Although it's been a month since he first saw her, he hasn't felt this alive since becoming a demon. Cecilia is moved by his words. Despite possessing great power, he has a human heart. She suggests he use that power to help others and asks him to accompany her to the outside world to do so. We then move to the Kingdom of Clarine, where the king is celebrating the heroes party who succeeded in defeating the Demon King that oppressed their people and sought to destroy the world. He plans to hold a grand celebration for them. He announces that the next 3 days will be a holiday to commemorate their victory. He asks everyone to celebrate their hero's great achievement to the fullest. We then find Yuki near the kingdom, overjoyed to have reached the capital where Cecilia lives. He then breaks off his own horn. Afterwards, we see the carriage parading the heroes, touring the entire kingdom in celebration. Yuki enters the Adventurers Guild and asks the receptionist to join. The employee hands him a form to fill out with his name, age, and consent to accept responsibility in the event of his death. Yuki completes the form, and the employee gives him his guild card, informing him that ranks begin at F and end at S. If you complete the quests and build a good record, you will be promoted to the next rank. Reaching rank E will take you at least a month. Then, the employee hands the card to Yuki and tells him to keep it safe, as it is difficult to reissue it until another 3 days have passed because the rest of the staff have taken leave to attend the festival, and he doesn't want to get involved in the hassle of reissuing it. Yuki takes the card and thanks him profusely. After that, we see Yuki in his room collecting the money he earned on his first day. He wants to raise his rank to earn more money so that after achieving a suitable income, he can get to know Cecilia again. Yuki is happy and determines to do his utmost to make this love a reality no matter the cost. The next day, Yuki goes to the guild and tells Crimin that he will accept this quest as well. However, Crimin is suspicious of him because he rose from rank F to rank D in just 1 week. He tells him, "You are no ordinary person, but I checked the matter and it doesn't seem like you were cheating." Then, Cecilia arrives and tells Crimin to cancel that quest. She looks at Yuki and tells him to come with her so she can speak with him. The scene then shifts to a mansion where we see Yuki stepping out of a carriage. A guard attacks him, but Cecilia gets angry at the guard and informs him that Yuki is her friend. After that, Cecilia apologizes to Yuki for what happened, telling her, "I planned to meet you sooner." Rumors are spreading everywhere about a rookie adventurer reaching rank D in the blink of an eye. "I wish finding you was all I needed to do. I want you to leave the Adventurers Guild. The hero defeated the Demon King, but that doesn't mean the danger is gone forever. Sovereignty wars could break out between human nations. We have seen signs of that. Our hero has received many marriage proposals from other countries. Other nations use everything they have, whether it's status, money, or marriage, to amass military power and human resources. You are climbing the adventurers' ranks at a breakneck speed. With your power, you'll reach rank S, and there are very few of that rank in this country. But if that happens, other countries might notice you. If they find you and accidentally exploit your demon powers, you could be used as a tool to conquer the world. I want you to not attract attention for a while. I wish I could hire you and pay you, but I don't have the money to hire a rank S individual."
Yuki tells her, "I would consider anyone doing that an enemy, so my life in this parallel world would end, but I do have living expenses." Cecilia pleads with him to agree for the sake of the country's safety. Then Yuki reassures her that he will refuse all the women who ask to marry him, because he wants only her. Cecilia laughs, saying to him, "It seems I was worried for no reason. You can stay in the Adventurers Guild." After that, Celia, Cecilia's mother, comes to them. She apologizes to him for the guard's rudeness, stating that her maid, Sophia, will reprimand him. She mentions that Cecilia has received many marriage offers. We see Yuki very angry because he loves Cecilia, and when he learns that the hero wants to marry her, he becomes even furious. Cecilia reassures him that she refused all those offers and tells her mother not to talk about unnecessary matters. Then Celia asks Yuki, "Since you admire Cecilia, why don't you marry her?" Yuki apologizes to her, saying, "I expressed my feelings to Cecilia, but she rejected me. I am working hard as an adventurer now, and as soon as I achieve a suitable income, I intend to ask her again." We see that Celia is testing Yuki to understand his point of view, as she cannot hand over her daughter easily. She says, "I don't want unwanted insects gathering around my daughter, and I want you to be a loyal friend to her." Cecilia speaks to Yuki, saying, "It seems my mother has taken a liking to you. I think that is very good, but I see you are a little annoyed." Yuki tells her if he wants to ask her a favor. "I want to call you Cecilia." She agrees and tells him that she will also call him Yuki. Thus ends today's episode of this anime. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new.
Our story begins with our heroine, Kinoshita, watching her favorite band with great enthusiasm. She is extremely infatuated with one of the band members, the singer Fukuhara. The name of this band is Face Off. We see her parents talking together about their daughter's intense love for this musical group. They are fed up with her and her obsession with that singer. Her siblings also mock her, saying that this love is exaggerated and that she will never actually meet that singer in real life. Then, Kinoshita introduces herself to us. She is 16 years old, a high school student, and lives to support her favorite star. However, she notices that her family disapproves of this. She enters her room, where we see many figures of that singer and his band, as she is a huge fan. This singer is the sexy and bold member of the group with a very handsome face, and he is the hottest student in high school. We see numerous magazines and photos of him. She then plays a video of that singer on her phone from 2 years ago, back when he was in the auditions. Then, suddenly, she receives a notification on her phone regarding ticket reservations for the band's concert. Kinoshita is astonished and tries to calm herself down, not wanting to get too excited since the chance of securing a ticket is very slim. She decides to try her luck and book a ticket, and to her surprise, the request is approved. She got the ticket. The next morning, we see Kinoshita at her workplace. Her manager apologizes for calling her in on her day off, explaining that a coworker, Toda, is in the hospital due to appendicitis, so she needs to take over the housekeeping duties at a residence in her place for a while. Kinoshita agrees immediately because she needs more money to support her favorite star. Kinoshita then explains to us that she works as a housekeeper, a job she started as a part-time gig. She looks at the details of the house she's heading to and notices that the owner's name is the same as her favorite singer. She fantasizes that it might actually be the famous singer's home. She arrives at the building, goes up to the apartment, and enters to find it turned upside down. She finds the homeowner sitting in a corner of the apartment looking very pale. Upon closer inspection, she discovers that it is indeed Fukuhara, her favorite singer. She is shocked by this beautiful coincidence. She used to wish for just a glimpse of him from afar, and now she's in his personal home. She closes the door and ponders his state. Is he just excessively shy? She starts looking for the vacuum cleaner and returns to ask him about it, but she finds him in a strange state, talking to himself. He says, "No one told me a girl this age would be coming. I can't get into work mode at home. What should I do?" Surely this girl is thinking, "Oh my god, what a failure. So gloomy and dark. I'm finished. I'll be exposed. She'll post about me saying, ha ha ha, and I'll become the laughingstock of the world. All the fans who supported me will call me a traitor. Someone will stop me in the street at midnight and I'll be left alone to die." Kinoshita is extremely baffled. Is this the person she admired so much? Is this the brilliant figure who appears before people? She starts cleaning and talks to herself, rationalizing that Fukuhara has his first Dome concert coming up, so he seems tired and strange right now. Then she panics at the mere thought that Fukuhara might retire due to anxiety. If that happened, she would die. Fukuhara then comes out, and Kinoshita reveals to him that she's been one of his biggest fans since his auditions 2 years ago. She admits that perhaps she shouldn't say this while on the job, but she wanted to let him know that she is very happy with his success, and because he has become a skilled singer. Fukuhara apologizes to her because she had to see his realistic version, which is far from the singing and the lights. He feels he has shattered the image painted in him in her mind. He considers himself to be deceiving the fans and hurting them, and that no one should support him at all. Kinoshita is surprised by his behavior and asks him why he says such things. She asks him with great anger, "Are you underestimating our love for you? You are not fake. You are the sexiest and greatest man ever who turns the fans' world into paradise. I don't care if your brain is broken, you're a brilliant star, and this is an undeniable truth. You are the owner of all girls' hearts." Fukuhara is surprised and tells her that your duality is even sharper than his own. Kinoshita then folds the clothes and tells him she is surprised by his decision to play this character given his real personality. He tells her that the agency decided that for him. There is someone he looks up to, and while it might be rude to think this way, he wanted to make everyone in the world smile. Kinoshita remembers that these were his exact words during the auditions. He continues, saying, "No one will be able to smile seeing someone who is maturing into gloom and darkness like me." Kinoshita speaks up, saying, "Okay, it might be acting, but it is not fake. Your feelings are real, and that is why they resonate with so many people." She looks at him and tells him, "You are not fake." He starts to weep, saying, "I became famous suddenly and all kinds of people were saying all kinds of nice things to me. I found that version of myself pathetic, and the person I trust the least is myself. Maybe I'll go to a forest or the wilderness or a deserted island where no one lives." Kinoshita gets angry at him for being miserable and unambitious. She tells him she will continue to support him even if he doesn't believe her, and she will never allow him to retire. Kinoshita then prepares food. Fukuhara's conscience starts bothering him again, and he apologizes for being a fraud. Kinoshita tells him she is amazed by his brilliant ability to sing and dance with such a bad diet. She tells him she will prepare delicious food for him now because he suffers from severe malnutrition, and bad food significantly affects mental health. She serves him the food, and when Fukuhara tastes it, he finds it very delicious. He gets close to her and tells her this is his favorite type of food. Kinoshita is very charmed by his words and blushes. Then he reverts to his miserable state again, apologizing for his actions, explaining he switched to his work persona suddenly and got too close unintentionally. The scene shifts to the city where we see posters of the band in the streets, with many fans stopping to take photos. We then see Kinoshita in the supermarket, buying groceries. She returns to the house and prepares a delicious meal for Fukuhara. Later, we see him in a TV interview. The interviewer asks him the secret to his freshness, noting he looks radiant and healthy. He tells them that recently he started eating much healthier food. We then see him enter the room while Kinoshita is tidying up. He tells her that he was asked to take a selfie in his home for the fan club, but he can't get into his singing character inside the house. He asks him what to do. Kinoshita thinks for a moment and says Fukuhara is a fan service machine who never makes a mistake. When he sees fan service signs in the audience, he can't help but comply. There are times when he is taken advantage of, but he does what is asked of him anyway. Kinoshita starts showing him signs of admiration. Fukuhara immediately enters his work persona and takes many photos. When finished, he thanks her profusely for her help. Kinoshita tells her she did nothing and will check the photos when they are posted. She never gets tired of looking at him, and she doesn't care what anyone says about him. To her, he is the best in this world. Kinoshita gets ready to leave and tells him to eat his food while it's hot. He tells her that he'll be able to hold out until the Dome concert somehow and thanks her for what she did for him. Thanks to her, he feels his mental state has improved, even if just a little. She tells him she only did her job and did nothing deserving of praise. He tells her that's not true. An artist's work is also a job, but fans praise him all the time, and that actually makes him happy. He apologizes immediately. Kinoshita tells him she's happy to hear this from him. He tells her, "Thank you, Kinoshita-san." She is extremely surprised, with hearts popping out of her eyes because he called her by her name. She gets close to him, and Fukuhara tries to move away, but she doesn't let him, telling him, "You are very cute." Suddenly, a man named Fujita enters and scolds them for their position. They pull apart, and Kinoshita leaves in a hurry. The next morning, we see girls at school talking about news that an artist was attacked by a stalker who apparently broke into his house and tackled him to the ground, remarking on the extreme audacity of invading an artist's personal life. Kinoshita confirms their words true, knowing it was a misunderstanding about her. Then they see Fukuhara's photos in a magazine and admire them greatly. Kinoshita thinks about him more and falls deeper in love, but fears getting used to him more and falling completely in love. We go to Fukuhara's house. The doorbell rings and he thinks it's Kinoshita, but he's surprised to find it's Toda. We see Kinoshita in her room, sad that she didn't go back to Fukuhara's house.
The time for the awaited concert arrives. We see the band on stage with many fans present. They start singing and performing amidst the admiration of many girls. After the concert ends, we see Kinoshita walking in the hallway thinking about him. Suddenly, a door opens and we see Fukuhara pulling Kinoshita inside. He tells her he saw her at the concert and asks why she was crying while everyone else was happy. Is it because she stopped working at his house? She tells him that he belongs to all the fans and she didn't want to bother him. He tells her that he's the one who decides that. He needs her by his side to support him because he is completely hopeless without her. Then suddenly, he apologizes to her. As he leaves, Kinoshita calls out to him and tells him she will always be by his side and will support him. Fukuhara returns to the concert and starts singing again, at the peak of excitement. And now we have reached the end of our first episode. It is clear that we have a different and unique love